Well, the light here is not as spectacular as it could be, but just wanted to make a little video. I went out to grab my Powerball, actually Mega Millions ticket. I'm in the pool at work with like 20 people. We're all trying to become millionaires tonight, but I figured I might as well grab a few tickets for just me and the wife, you know? Maybe I'll be nice and give all my coworkers $1 million if I win, though. I think the cash payout's over $500 million, you know? But I've been watching some stuff on YouTube about old guys in the Philippines starting over. I don't mean just moving to the Philippines to get a new start on life. Because a lot of people will be, well, isn't that what they're all doing? Isn't that what they all go to the Philippines for, to start over? But I'm not talking about people who are maybe in their 50s or early 60s or whatever and just retired and moved to the Philippines. But I'm talking about if someone's been there for a while and the relationship they're in ends, or let's say the person unexpectedly dies, you know, the person they're involved with. Especially if they're involved with somebody a lot younger, that might not be the most likely possibility, you know. But that could happen. But how do you deal with that? You know, do you want to start over or not even? Say you're 75 years old, something like that, and you've been in a relationship with someone, even married or whatever, and it ends, they decide they don't want to be with you anymore. Then how would you handle that? Maybe you could say, well, here we are living in a house that I paid for and built, and I'm staying here, you know? Maybe you can get away with that, depending on your situation. Maybe they don't care if you stay there and keep contributing and hope that things will work out and they'll change their mind and that suddenly the relationship will be like it was again. Not sure how likely that scenario is, but there are people who might opt for that particular course of action. I think sometimes about myself and my situation. When we move over to the Philippines sometime, maybe in the next few years or whatever, we've got this nice big house that we built, and you know, that's what I told my wife. If something were to happen to her, I don't know what I would do, you know. It would feel strange to me. She's like, well, that's your house, you know. You know, that's what we built, you built. That's your house. And, you know, we've got our 2 nieces there that basically are like our daughters. And we've talked about officially adopting them. And my wife's mom. But if something were to happen to my wife and she were not around anymore, I told her I'd feel kind of strange living there with her mom, you know. Just wouldn't seem right for some reason. But really, I mean, that's my family and stuff now and all of that. But still, it just, for me, I can't picture that. It would be strange. I mean, I would like to live in my house that I basically designed and that we built. But even though I love her family and I consider them my family, it wouldn't be the same without her there. On the other hand, let's say that happened and I was in my mid to late 60s, let's say. You know, what would I do? Even my situation I'm in now, you hear people talk about a 40-year age difference and stuff like that. That's not what my situation is. When I met my wife, you know, she was in her early 20s. I was, you know, basically just, you know, going into my 50s. And even that, pretty big age difference. But still, I mean, I was young enough that I didn't feel like it was something super crazy or something like that. But these guys that go over there who are already in their mid-60s, and they just say, well, I'll have this girl, and then I'll have this girl, and if something happens, maybe I'm with somebody right now, and if they decide to flake out on me, well, I'll just trade him in for somebody younger and hotter or whatever, you know? I just can't see that personally as what I want to do with my life, where I want to go with things, you know? I kind of feel like this is the relationship that I'm in. I want to be with my wife. And if that were to end somehow and I was the one who was still here, I just can't see trying to get involved with somebody else. I don't know that I would even have the desire to get involved in that kind of thing again. Even the situation I'm in now, it's not like I was out, you know, when I kind of fell into this whole Philippine thing, it's not like I was out running around trying to make that happen or something. It's just kind of the situation that came up in my life and that I ended up getting involved in. And I'm happy about it, you know, where it all ended. But as an old man, 65, 70, 75 years old, I would have no desire to go run off and get involved with somebody else. As far as I'm concerned, you know, this is the relationship I've got, and this is it. I understand that if you found yourself alone, maybe something different would come through your mind eventually, but I can't see going out. You know, I happen to agree with a lot of these people who talk about these incredible age gap relationships. I have no desire to go out and find somebody 40 years younger than me after my wife would die or something. And I would keep my my money and my income and all of that and live out the rest of my life trying to have a good time, you know, and enjoy things and enjoy the area if I decided to even stay in the Philippines, which, like I say, I've got family there basically now. That's my family. Those girls are like our daughters. But it would be tough. I know this one YouTuber who is going through a situation like that, you know, not with a death, but where the relationship that he was in is apparently having issues and not really sure what's going to happen with it and all of that. But it's something you have to wonder about. When you're that old, trying to start over, is that something that's even worth it? For some of these guys, I mean, they went over there anyways, just trying to find as much young tail as they could find, and they don't care how old they are or how young anybody else is. You know, that's they're there to have fun and party and enjoy it, and so whatever. But when you're an older person, it is nice when you're, you know, to have people around, somebody that you can trust and somebody that's in your life there. My personal feeling, I was on my own for a long, long time, and I never wanted to get into a position where, you know, just I've got somebody around that I'm going to be a burden to. And so certainly I hope I can stay healthy and keep going right up to the end, you know, because I just don't want to be in that situation. We don't all get to pick what situation we end up in. On the other hand, when you're old, it's kind of nice to know that there's somebody around to dial 911 if you're having a heart attack and save your life for you, you know, if you're not in a position to do that on your own. When you're young, you know, it's romantic to kind of think about, I'm just going to let them find my body in a ditch along the road in some far-flung country, and nobody even know who I was. Nobody knows what happened to me, where I am. That shit sounds romantic and exciting when you're young and think, oh, I'll live a life of adventure and who cares where they find the body or if they ever do. When you're old, you do think about things like that. You know, who's going to be there to bury you when you're gone, or to ever, you know, to care that you ever even existed? Because a lot of times in our life, a lot of the people that actually cared about us and that we knew from our childhood, our family and so forth, along the way, man, if you live to a ripe old age, a lot of them are gone. You outlive all those people. I remember watching a special with Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, and it went through all their early days, when they were, him and Morris and Robin, when they were young. And then talking about Andy Gibb, who died. And like Barry was saying, all families are like that. There's one person that ends up eventually that's left to tell the story. And he's the one in their family, And sooner or later, that's what happens in every family. People start dying off, get killed off in accidents, whatever. And eventually, you look around and you're the last man standing. And it's you're the end of that legacy. So it makes you think about things that you don't think about when you're younger. But sooner or later, it's going to happen to all of us. Like I say, when you get old, you start to think about, I don't want to just die on my own in a room somewhere and nobody find me until I start stinking bad enough to annoy the neighbors. So I was watching some videos by this one other guy, that got me thinking about this stuff. And it is a hard situation to see somebody in. You feel for somebody that's in a situation like that. But there are no easy answers in life. None of us make it out of here alive. It'd be like the old song, was it The Who? Hope I die before I get old. On the other hand, got the song I saw Eric Clapton doing the one time. I was so much, I can't remember if it was something he did with somebody else or Bob Dylan or who. It was like, I was so much younger then, or I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. So a lot of guys, they get older and they finally learn to let loose and live a little. When they're young, they act like they're old. They don't really enjoy things. And then when they get older, they finally realize how much of their life has gone by that they just didn't really enjoy the way they wish they had. We don't know what our situation is going to be until we get there. But for sure, you look around, you see other people in the situations they're going through, and it makes you happy for what you've got. We're all with people, say if you're married to a Filipino or whatever, and some of these guys will tell you, oh, you don't really, you think you know her and you don't have any idea what's coming down the road. I guess the implication being maybe someday when you get a little older, they'll decide that they not that excited about being with you either. Nothing you can do except keep living and find out. You start down the road, you don't know what's going to come down that road until you get to it. You just have to want to live and grab it by the horns, man.